Dobro utro again.
Yeah, well, not jutro. It's afternoon in Serbia now, but for you it's morning. Yeah. Okay. Should we start right away or?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, so just as a reminder, so we are on the record, you may record, and we have 8 minutes for this interview. So I'd appreciate if we could stick as closely to our time as possible. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah. Mr. Donfrey, thank you for this opportunity. Since we're on the clock here, let's just start immediately. First question, is 2023 the year in which the Russia's invasion of Ukraine ends? Or do you believe Mr. Putin will be seeking prolonged war, and with what consequences?
So it's very hard for me to assess what Putin is thinking. What I do know is we are coming up on the 1-year anniversary of Russia's brutal invasion of Ukraine. And as I look back on this past year, the pain of this has been most keenly felt in Ukraine. And it is really hard to watch innocent Ukrainians die every day. So I think we, Americans, Serbians, Ukrainians, share an interest in having this war end. Now, Ukraine, President Zelensky has put on the table a 10-point peace plan. I think the Ukrainians more than anybody want an end to this war. But President Zelensky has made clear that this war needs to end with a just and sustainable peace. And that is something we too are committed to. So that is a goal for 2023, is to help ensure that Ukraine can end this war in a just and sustainable way. Thank you.
Thank you. The second question, how do you assess Serbia's position on the Russia's invasion of Ukraine, having in mind President Vučić's statements that our country consistently advocates respect for the principle of sovereignty and integrity?
So I thought it was very powerful when President Vučić said that, because fundamentally what unites the majority of countries around the world are the principles that are stated in the UN Charter. And that's this commitment to respecting sovereignty and territorial integrity. And I think that's why you saw in these 2 UN General Assembly resolutions last year, one which got 141 votes from around the world of countries condemning Russia's brutal invasion, and then the later resolution that got 143 votes of countries condemning Russia's illegal annexation of sovereign Ukrainian territory. And I think those 143 countries were saying, this is wrong. This is not the kind of world we want to live in. It is not okay for a bigger, stronger country to seize the sovereign territory of its weaker neighbor. And that's what Serbia was saying by voting in favor of those resolutions. And I think Serbia is on the right side in the court of world opinion about what Russia is doing to Ukraine. So I think those principles undergird also the relationship our 2 countries have, that we want to stand up together and say, this is wrong and this is not the world we want to live in. Does that mean we're aligned on all issues related to Russia's war against Ukraine? Of course not. And there's an ongoing conversation where we are encouraging Serbia to respect the sanctions that are in place against Russia. And that also is a part of Serbia moving forward on its path to EU membership. And we believe strongly that Serbia's future is as a full member of the Euro-Atlantic community. So we will continue to make those points in our conversations with the Serbian government. Thank you.
Thank you. And the final question, what do you believe will be the long-term effects of the Russian invasion of Ukraine on the situation in the Western Balkans? Will it make it closer to the EU and NATO or opposite?
Thanks for that question, because when I think about the implications, of Russia's war against Ukraine. In the first instance, of course, those implications are profound for Ukraine. And that's why we are working so hard to help Ukraine defend itself against Russia's aggression. In the second instance, the implications of this war matter tremendously for the European security landscape, which includes the Western Balkans. And finally, the implications for global stability are profound. And when I think about Serbia today, as I just said, we believe Serbia's future is as a full member of the Euro-Atlantic community. And the war in Ukraine makes me feel that there's a sense of urgency about Serbia moving forward on that path. I believe that the vast majority of Serbian citizens want that future for themselves, for their children, for their grandchildren, because it's a future of greater democracy and greater prosperity and greater security. So if I were living in Serbia, I would have a sense of let's move forward as quickly as we can to put in place the reforms that are essential for moving down the path of EU membership. And I want to say that I think we're seeing President Vučić also make really important steps forward through the EU facilitated dialogue that matters for Serbia's relationship with Kosovo. And so I think this picture of Serbia's future in the EU as a full member of the Euro-Atlantic community is something that should be even more motivating as we see Russia's war against Ukraine. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Since I see we have like 2 additional minutes, if you agree, we can add another question, maybe.
Sure.
So I understand that you're coming to Belgrade soon, and I would like to ask you, surely Ukraine will be one of the topics, and what other topics will you cover during this visit, and what do you expect will be the main point of discussion of you with Mr. President Vučić?
Well, I will tell you, I would love to be coming to Belgrade soon because I thoroughly enjoyed my last visit, and Belgrade is an amazing city. I don't have immediate plans to travel, but I will say that Derek Chalet, who's the counselor of the State Department, was in Belgrade last week and did have the opportunity for a full and really important conversation with President Vučić that covered the gamut of issues that we've been talking about. So I think you've seen sustained high-level engagement from our government to yours and vice versa. And we here at the State Department are committed to continuing that conversation and supporting Serbia as it moves forward on this path of Euro-Atlantic integration.
Okay, thank you so much. If you would like to give us like a final message or something that you feel you need to say anything more.
I will just leave you with a message that this sense of urgency I talked about before is palpable for me. I feel it for the US in terms of how the war in Ukraine plays out. And I feel it for the future of the Western Balkans. And Serbia plays such a critical role in the Western Balkans, of course. It is the largest country. And to see President Vučić moving out in pursuit of this future for the citizens of his country is motivating. And I know that there are hard decisions ahead for the Serbian government, for Serbian citizens, but I believe deeply that you are moving to a better future for Serbians and for the next generation of Serbians. So I just want to say that the United States is with you on that journey. We are committed to it. And I look forward to continuing this conversation and also seeing those very concrete steps forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.